Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the streams of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, wherever you're tuning in across Facebook, YouTube, or any of the platforms. We're back for your fix of Wednesday night motorsport. As you can see, your location is Lime Rock Park in Lakeville, Connecticut, USA. We kick off tonight with the Downforce legends, the Radical, around one of the stalwarts of the iRacing server, Lime Rock Park. It is without the chicane, so it's going to be the very fast right-hander at the end of turn number 4. A double header again tonight, so stay tuned. Of course, we kick off tonight with the back-to-back races in the Downforce Legends, but then we'll go straight across to the GT4s and we'll bring you all the action for round number 9 there from Imola. So we've gone through qualifying. They're gridding up on the grid at the moment. We'll go through your starting positions here for race number 1. Also quickly, welcome Grant Gill into the booth tonight, but it will be Guy Leach, Stuart Ellis off the front row, Brett Barker, Aiden Schwerkoff off the second row, Rd-9, John Baldwin off the third, Davidson, Matson, Clark and Wellman your 10 as they get very, very close to going green. Big field tonight, Sean Rees, Todd Maxfield, Sean McClure and Aaron Bryan out of 14th, Christensen, Phil Butler, John Merritt and Michael Latter out of 18th. Look out for John Merritt to make his way forward in race number 1. But they're about to go green, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, Grant Gill, I'll bring you in here, mate, just before they go green. I'll quickly do the track information. So classic, no chicane, as I said, USA, Lakeville is where we are located. Track length 2.35 kilometres, 22 degrees Celsius and an altitude of 154 metres. Of course, myself, Aidan Schultz, in the broadcast booth with Grant Gill, and we're about to go green. So we will jump across and have a look at that. But about to go green, Grant, they're all ready to go. Race number 1. Yeah. Yeah, no worries, mate. Very clean. We have seen a few incidents early on in a couple of the rounds so far. Oh, there we go. Big incident in turn number 1. 3, 4, 5 cars caught up in that one. So we'll just let them settle down for the first lap and we'll get our head in the game here and figure out where your favourite players are and where the winners and the losers are. But it is Stuart Ellis that did take the lead off the start as they make their way through that very fast right-hander. The cars will get very light over that bump there as they make their way across. So down into the final turn, and Stuart Ellis will lead us across for the first lap, but looks like that Brett Barker wants to have a little bit of a look up the inside, and Aiden Schwerkart's now having a look up the inside too, so nearly 3 wide into turn number 1. Aiden just backs off there, and Brett Barker will keep that position. But there we go, I've finally got the images on the bottom of who we're looking at, so that is good. Also, I've just, bear with me ladies and gentlemen, because I haven't done commentary with Grant for a very long time, so using a different platform and getting used to it, but we'll go back to the replay of the start down into turn number 1. So Troy Davidson looks like he's had a bit of a self-lose there, and Sean Rees gets involved in that one as well, and a couple of drivers good to get through that. But Grant, turn number 1, it's happened again, a bit of an incident in turn number 1 here for race number 1. Yeah, definitely will, mate, and you hit the nail on the head. The cars will be starting to come into the window with their tyre temps at the moment, so you'll see the times possibly start coming down. But last time around, your leader, Stuart Ellis, with a 45.3. It was a 45.3. Quickest last time around was Guy Leach in 4th, so those top 4 on screen are pretty much jetting off into the distance at the moment. 5 actually, with Jared Knight just tagging onto the back of this as well. So keep an eye on Aiden Schwerkart. I do make a little bit of a beeline to him to have a look at him during the races last week, Grant. He actually come away with the feature win, so he's been doing a great job, so keep an eye on him to make his way forward. But I tell you what, the 5 guys around him are not going to let him have it his own way. Yeah, 100%. An error is what it's going to take to make a move, unless you're going to be very committed, as you said, down into turn number 1. But we have seen it's very easy to make an error. There is the treasurer of the club, Pete Matson, with a great start to the race. Started out at 8th, up into 7th. He doesn't mind the radical, mate. He's always up inside that top 10 or there or thereabouts, moving forward through the races in the radicals we've seen. So Pete Matson, don't know why I'm saying Pete Baxter. Pete Matson, you're definitely fond of these cars as he slowly makes his way up. But back to the lead of the race, and it's still a train of 5, led by Ellis, followed by Barker, Schwerkart and Guy Leach, and Rd-9 with a big moment there on the exit of turn number 2. Mate, I'll second that every time I talk about one. So you do that. No doubt we'll put a lot of them under the bus tonight then. But hopefully not. It's now a 4-car train at the front. Rd-9's actually lost 2 positions with that little moment, and Pete Matson's made another move up inside the top 6, just in the group behind this. So 4 off into the distance. We're already 5 minutes down into 15 minutes. We will have a second race coming up for you, which will be a reverse top 10. So where they finish in this, in the top 10, is where they'll start for the 25-minute feature race. We don't have any issues with fuel, so there'll be no pit stops. It's just a pure sprint race. But Rd-9 all over the back of Pete Matson. Expect him to have a look down into turn number 1 and try and get 1 spot back and put his eyes forward to possibly chasing down John Baldwin, who's sitting in the 5th position. So he gets a good run down the straight, has a look up the inside. Pete Matson just opens the steering wheel, and that's Rd-9 1 position back on where he was, or where he went to after his little bit of a moment, and Pete Matson getting a little bit wide on the exit of turn number 2 there. So Rd-9, he's only got 9 minutes, just more than 9 minutes actually, to try and make his way up to the back of this leading group. I think it's a little bit too much to ask, but this is definitely where the winner's going to come from for race number 1 here at round number 9. Oh, big crash between 3rd and 4th. Sorry there, mate. Big crash between 3rd and 4th in the background. So that's now down to 2 for the lead of the motor race. So 3rd and 4th come together, and that with Barker and Leach was a part of that as well. So it looks like Brett's continued on, possibly. Yeah, it looks like he's still going, but Guy Leach, he has hemorrhaged a lot of spots down into 12th position. So after starting 2nd, he's all the way into 12th. He's got 2 more spots to try and start out of the pole position for the reverse top 10. But it's now a fight of 2, nearly halfway through this 15-minute race, mate. Yeah, just loose the exit. Yeah, wrong spot at the wrong time, as we can see over and over again. Unfortunately, that is not good for Guy Leach, but he's got the pace. Hopefully he can get inside the top 10 to start up the front for race number 2. But this is the battle for 7th and 8th on the racetrack. You can see David Christensen and Pete Matson a part of that one as well, as my screen just goes weird, but that's right. Yeah, he's just sitting in behind at the moment, just having a little bit of a stalking brief and keeping those lap times there or thereabout with Stewart. Don't be surprised if he gets to the back that he'll want to make a move. But he's been driving really well as he makes just a little bit of a mistake there on the exit and catches a little bit of grass, but he's definitely a little bit quicker at the moment. But Stuart Ellis, great steerer. He won't let Aiden have this easy, and he'll want to take the points here for race number 1. But coming in with a lot of form, Aiden has, so he'll want to do well. Of course, the onboard's brought to you by Orbic. You can see down in your bottom right corner. A big thank you to Orbic. Without those guys, we don't go racing, and we can't bring these amazing pictures to you here on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club for round number 9 of the Downforce Legends. Of course, across the top, we've got our other sponsors, Sprayton Cider, the non-alcoholic cider, a new sponsor to the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Big thank you from all the admins and all the members for jumping on board and helping us do what we love to do and create this great content for all the drivers and all the viewers, wherever you're tuning in across all our platforms, whether it be Facebook or YouTube. Player One Sim Gear, of course. If you want any of your sim racing gear, go across to Player One Sim Gear and support the people that support the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club and the iRacing community, and Lobesy Racing as well. Plenty other sponsors that we'll go through during the night, but we'll go back to the racing action, and it's Aaron Bryan now in the 11th position. He's chasing down Gary Wellman just in front of him, but already we're nearly 4 minutes to go, Grant. It has absolutely flown by. He actually, on the call of the grid, mate, he started, I think, second last on the grid. So don't know what happened in qualifying. I said keep one eye out for John Merritt to make his way forward, and he has done so, up into the 9th position in the Pulse tuning car. And he could grab a free 3 positions here if he plays his cards right, as they're going nearly 3 wide into turn number 1. John Merritt's eyes will be lighting up on this little battle, and there's a freebie. One more. Yeah, biggest mover and shaker of the night is John Merritt at the moment, as you said, up 10 after starting 17th. Not to be outdone by is David Christensen, just in front of John. He's up 9 positions as we go back to the 3rd place battle at the moment. That's Jared Knight in behind Brett Barker that you see on screen at the moment. It is a fighter 2 at the front, still a 2/10 gap between Ellis and Schwerkart, but this is the next closest, as Schwerkart has a little look up the inside and goes, how you going? You going to let me through there? No, he won't. So status quo down into the final turn. We're about to go 2 minutes left, and Aiden looking very racy and wanting to have a move right up up behind him now. He's going to position the car on the outside. He won't be able to hold it around there, although he's going to give it a good go. If he can, he'll be on the right side for the next corner. No, he can't. So switch back. Here we go. And he's yeah, most definitely one of the really good young talents here on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. I've raced a lot against him, and he's a very, very good steerer and races well above his years. So doing a great job, and Stuart Ellis is one of the stalwarts of GSRC and very quick. So He's not going to be an easy beat, but we've got 13 and a half minutes down. We're 15 minutes of this race, so a minute and a half to go. There will probably be one more lap after this one, and we'll see who's going to get the chockies between Stuart Ellis and Aidan Schwerkart here for race number 1, round number 9 of the Downforce Legends at Lime Rock Park. Tell you what, it's heating up for 3rd and 4th. Rd-9 wants to make a move on Brett Barker, who's carrying that little bit of damage there. David Christensen has now sacrificed position to John Merritt, so John Merritt now up into the 6th position as well. But this is where the battle of the race is. Under a minute to go. We'll see whether Barney's doing his thing. And there's a move to the lead of the motor race. Schwerkart got it. So really good switchback move there by Aidan. He's been looking at that for the last 15 minutes, I'd suggest. And he as Jared Knight tried the same thing, and that didn't come off well for him. And they're going to hemorrhage spots. This is good for Barker, Baldwin and Christensen. But Aidan Schwerkart makes his way... Sorry, mate. Schwerkart makes his way through the final turn, and Aidan Schwerkart is going to win race number 1, round number 9 of the Downforce Legends here from Lime Rock. What a great race between himself and Stuart Ellis. 3rd place, John Baldwin will come across the line. Will he hold on to that? It looks like he's got that done, and he does, over David Christensen, who is up 11 spots. So he was the beneficiary of that incident before, as they all come across the line, mate. But that quick, race number 1, round number 9 of the Downforce Legends have been run and won, and Aidan Schwerkart takes home the spoils. Oh. Yeah, very nice driving there. So we've got him up now. Aidan Schwerkart takes the win for race number 1, round number 9 of the Downforce Legends. It was Ellis, Baldwin, Christensen and Stark. Chris Starkey Stark with a good run in 5th. Barker, Knight, Matson, Wellman and Maxfield, your 10. That'll be inverted here for race number 2 for what will be a 25-minute sprint race. So this is definitely going to sort the men out from the boys. John Merritt, you saw there, he'll start out of 11th. And we'll bring up your starting grid very shortly here for round number 9 of the Downforce Legends. Lime Rock Park, I hope you're enjoying all the action here on your streams of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Of course, do not go anywhere because this is the entree to the main course. We're going across to the GT4s from Imola. Was it Imola? I think we're going to Imola. No, Interlargos, sorry. Yeah. Looking at too many things at once, mate. I'm a mere mortal here. Yeah, we go across to the main course, GT4s from Imola for the next one. The GT3s were there last night, and it was some great GT3s, sorry, we're at Watkins Glen. So, yeah, looking forward to that one. They're in warm-up at the moment, mate. What are you expecting? Race number 2, inverted top 10. Some of the quick guys coming from the mid-pack. We see how easy it is to get caught up in someone else's incident, and no doubt there will be 1 or 2 at some stage. What are you looking forward to the most out of race number 2? Longer race as well. Well, that's the end of warm-up, ladies and gentlemen. Barney's waved his flag. We're setting the grid now for race number 2, round number 9 of the Downforce Legends here on your streams of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, and it will be Todd Maxfield and Gary Wellman, teammates From Sim Boys, leading the way off 1 and 2. Pete Matson, Jared Knight out of 3 and 4. Brett Barker and Chris Stark out of 5 and 6. David Christensen and John Baldwin out of 7 and 8. And Stuart Ellis and Aidan Schwerkart, your race 1 winner, will start out of 10th. 11th position will be John Merritt with Guy Leach out of 12th. Philip Butler out of 13th, my teammate from Quantum Motorsports. And Aaron Bryan from 14th. Michael Latta and Troy Davidson out of 15, 16. Sean McClure and Wayne Visser out of 17 and 18. They're nearly all gridded up. 18-car field here. Race number 2, round number 9, Downforce Legends. If you liked what you saw in race number 1, get ready, strapped in. Go grab yourself a coffee or your favourite beverage. You're about to see 25 minutes of great racing here for the Downforce Legends as we're about to go green. Maxfield and Wellman off the pole. Matson and Knight off the second row. Will Matson get the jump? The lights are on. We're going to go 5 red and then we're going green. 4, 5. And we've had a jump start by Gary Wellman, but we're green. Matson's gone nowhere. There's guys from the mid-pack that have had a good jump, but we make their way down into turn number 1 for the first time. Aidan Schwerkart in there, Stuart Ellis, everyone. They're all getting through pretty nicely this time, mate. So, although I don't want to speak, but yeah, he seemed... And he's in a very feisty pack there at the battle, so he's going to have to be careful if he wants to fight his way back up to the front. But Todd Maxfield leads the way over Brett Barker. Brett will be wanting to make a move pretty early and just set his sights forward and try and get a gap. So Brett was one of the bigger movers in the first one where he got caught up in that incident, and he was... But we're 4-5 wide, if you don't mind, down the main straight. Who's going to give? But we're going to have a change for the lead of the motor race, and Maxfield's going to give that up. We're 3 wide into turn number 1, as there is a change for the lead. And Brett Barker gets the job done. There's a car off in the background that looks like Sean Reeve, maybe. Oh, Burkhart's involved in that one. We've all been there, mate, and myself included, and probably yourself as well. We've all been there. Not the first. Oh, big accident down the main straight. Todd Maxfield, sitting in second position, has just thrown it away. We'll go back and have a look at this one when we can. Over the hump. Oh. Got launched into cyberspace. He was gone. Tell you what, if you're in a motion rig or you got a direct dive wheel, that would have hurt the hands. But there you. And we just saw on the bottom of your screens that John Merritt will incur a 5-second post-race penalty. So wherever he ends up in this race, and he will have pace over the guys that we saw in the first race, but it looks like he's sporting a lot of damage on that rear wing, so that will be hindering him, I would suggest. But yeah, 5-second post-race penalty for John Merritt will be applied. So currently in 4th, but if he does not pull away, he will drop a couple of spots. But Guy Leach in the 5th position. There's Aidan Schwerkart there in 9th, and that's Michael Latta just in front of him as well. So This is just going to be try and limit the damage for Aiden, I'd suggest, after race number 1 winning and having that great move to make the win on the last lap. But keep an eye on the times. I'm just going to have a look down the right-hand side. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard as a commentator to have your opinion, but from my racing head, I'd suggest it's up to you to make the pass and make it cleanly, and unfortunately, that wasn't able to be done on that occasion. So he's going back again, he's still going, he's in 9th, and he's going to have take number 2, and he gets that one done this time. So he's now in 8th position, and he'll have his eyes set on Aaron Bryan, who is a further 1.2 seconds up the road. But spicy little battle up in front here. Guy Leach in 5th, that's 6th behind him as well, Stuart Ellis. Stuart Ellis only up 3 positions off the start. Expect him to make his way forward as well. There's a 10-second post-race penalty for Pete Matson with contact during the yellow with car 005. So there must have been yellow flags on that part of the track from Todd Maxfield having that incident, and he made contact. But yeah, just the story of his second race after a good first race, unfortunately. Everything happened so quickly, so don't really blame him, but hey, the rules are rules, Macca, and the yellow flag's out. You roll off the throttle and do your best to avoid it. But this, who's going around the outside here? This looks like Wayne Visser possibly going around the outside of Troy Davidson. No, that's Gary Wellman. So yeah, okay, so Wellman, after starting off the front row and serving the drive-through, well, has he served it yet? He must have. Yep, so he's now making his way back up and up into the 10th position. So good recovery drive there from having a little bit of an excursion. Oh, I thought Guy Leach was going and into the inside fence there, what Maxfield did. Very good save. But down through the final turn, Guy Leach with Stuart Ellis all over the back of him. Will Stuart make a run down into turn number 1? Is he quite close enough? I don't think so. He's going to have a look and put it up the inside. Guy Leach not being very gentlemanlike. He's not going to let him have it, nor does he have to. And they're going to go too wide down through turn number 2. Guy Leach is on the right side of the, Stuart Ellis is on the right side of the road, but he can't hold the car there, so status quo, and Guy Leach holds on to the 5th position from Stuart Ellis. Yeah, I saw it the same way, but hey, we're just mere commentators and doing the broadcasting, mate. It's a very tough job in race control, and I tell you what, the guys at the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club do a great job at it. So, unfortunate incident there, unfortunate penalty there for Ladder, but he'll keep his eye forward. And we're up to 3rd, so this is a battle for 3rd and 4th as they go past a lap car. You're on board with Chris Starkey. He's had a great run tonight, mate. He hasn't done a lot of sim racing in a bit. He did mention, I believe I saw it on socials, that he was backing off sim racing a little bit because of how much time life and everything takes up, which we all know. But he's doing a great job up into 3rd place at the moment. He had a really solid 4th place, I believe, in race number 1. So good job by Starkey so far tonight. Yeah, since the iRacing update, I think it might have been a couple of updates ago, there's a car gone into pit lane, you saw that little bit of tyre puff smoke there. iRacing update a couple of updates ago, I'm not quite sure, I'm not up with the updates. They did change the grass model and it makes it a lot more drivable when you do hit the grass. So historically it was an ice skating rink. As soon as you'd hit the grass, you're gone. So that model's been good and it's helped the guys probably, you know, stretch those limits of the racetrack and utilise all of it. Obviously they're still going to get their off tracks. Oh, big tank. He's gone. Yeah, 100%, mate, and it's never easy, but I think that's fair on both parties there, and they'll just reset and keep making their way through. Unfortunately, that's not over for Pete Matson, so we've got to move him third, and he gets it done. Yeah, still a long way to go, and I tell you what, there's a lot of wounded cars out there. As you see, the front end of Guy Leach is looking a little bit worse for wear. Schwerkart's the same. So Brett Barker's been the beneficiary, though, leading now by 5.6 seconds up the road, as we still just stay on board with Guy Leach, chasing down Aidan Schwerkart. Schwerkart actually last lap around 44.681, so he's trading 45.143, so he's about half a second off the leaders at the moment, and that'll be the damage possibly affecting that, but he's still quick. We'll see what he does next time around and see whether he can get another couple of positions, because still a long way to go. We're only just at half race distance now, so I hope you're enjoying all the action. We're too wide again down the main straight for another position. Aaron Bryan is part of that. Schwerkart gets that done. Aaron Bryan just errs on the side of caution, says you're faster, and did what Chris Starkey Stark did earlier to John Merritt and lets him have it. So that's another position for Aidan, up 6 positions, and puts Aaron back into the 7th position, and he will have Guy Leach coming for him very, very quickly. Yeah, the freebie, as I call it. But yeah, very close times. It's going to be interesting as the race progresses and the tyre fall off happens because they will have tyre fall off over the 25 minutes. Of course, fuel will be dropping as well, so that's going to help the stability of the car over a long period with the tyres being up to temp. So like I said, no pit stops tonight either. This is pure sprint racing. So David Christensen in 2nd position. He's actually taken a big gap out of Brett Barker. Brett Barker must have had an incident in the last couple of corners, because that's dropped from 6 seconds to 3 seconds just in the time that we were looking at the other cars. So David Christensen now has Brett Barker in his sights. We'll see what the last lap times were when they come around this time, and we'll, I don't know if an incident came up for you, mate, but it looks like you...
Haven't had my microphone on. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, oh look, he's done well to pick that up after all that talking I've been doing, and no one's been the benefit of it other than you, Aiden. So, Aiden, sorry, too many A's. But thank you, Mark Gomes, for pointing that out.
Well, I can say, Mark, he's been doing a stellar job, and the commentary's been great in my ear, mate. So I don't know if that's worth anything, but you get it for the next couple of hours. So. Back on audio, mate. That's unfortunate, because that sounded really good in my ear. But anyway, we keep moving forward, and Stuart Ellis on board with at the moment. He's fastest on track. He's fastest on track. He's done a 44.516, only a 44.803 last time around. Aiden Schwerkart in the 6th position was fastest on track as we go back to a replay.
Back live.
Back live, sorry.
So this is Christensen running in 2nd place, 3.5 seconds behind. Stuart Ellis, as we're looking at, is starting to close in on Chris Stark. And we see that in the background. So John Merritt's in, of course, the Pulse livery car there. Then we've got Stuart Ellis and Chris Stark. And as you can see, that gap's come down from 1.7 just a couple of laps ago to just 0.6 of a second. Aero wash will start playing a bit of a role here, so Ellis will have to keep it nice and tidy and just do those tenths of a second as they go on. I swear I could hear myself as well, Josh, but this is what happens when you pick up broadcasts at the last moment. We send our Cheerios out to Dan Pereira, whose lovely wife is not feeling particularly well, and he picks up the dadding duties, looking after their little one. So pleased to jump in and help out. And as we always say in the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, family comes first.
Yeah, 100%, mate, and I'll second that. Big shout out from all of us at the GSRC, mate. Hope your wife's well, and look forward to hopefully seeing you back on deck next week for the final round of Season 4 of the Radicals and the GT4s. But Grant, it's me and you for now. We are now, I think it's gone a bit blurry, 17 minutes into 25. Yeah, so this is there we go. This is winding down very, very quickly. I tell you what, Starkey's had an interesting race. It hasn't been a point during the race. He hasn't had someone stalk in the back of his bumper, but he's currently holding down 4th position over Ellis. Ellis will try and make a move in the final 7 minutes of this one. He's definitely the quickest car on track. It's just can he get it done as he goes really deep under brakes there into turn number 1.
Yeah, I saw a little comment from one of the videos, must have been Monday night, and they were wondering how Matty Dench can just stretch the lead on people in the GT3s, and his dad came with a very good comment there, saying that Matt says you make a tenth every corner, add up the corners, and there's your half a second or a second a lap. That's all you have to do, make a tenth a corner. But you saw down at the end of the main straight, Starkey just being a little bit cautious, and Ellis thinking, well, I can see where you're braking, I'm going to brake just a little bit later.
Yeah, well, my real racing background, I'd agree with what Denchy says, and he's not an absolute freak for no reason. But there's one thing saying it, being able to do it, exactly. I struggle with it every single time I go racing. So he does great to do that. But yeah, that is great advice to be able to do it. But also, you've got other cars to navigate at the same time. And there is the old saying in motorsport as well, and we're about to see that now between Starkey and Ellis. It's okay catching the car in front, but it's another thing passing them.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Tuning into my inner Murray.
Yeah, that's it.
Chris Stark in 4th, and that's a lap car, I believe, in front of them, because my relative is not showing them close to anyone. So Gary Wellman.
battle box in the lower right corner, you can see that 4th, and in front of him is 12th. So he's a lap down, but he'll do his best to hop out of the way here somewhere along the way. Probably just take the inside line after this next corner and let the boys pull down right. He takes the outside line.
Steering wheel.
Very nicely done. Aaron Bryans had some excitement, and that's just running wide, trying to get it round, a little bit of throttle, and nice drift. Won't get you to the finishing line first.
Yeah, no style points in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club point system, unfortunately. You would have got a couple there, but unfortunately no style points. But we've seen a bit of that tonight, but this is the closest battle on the racetrack for 4th and 5th. Ellis is erring on the side of caution. Starkey's just going a little bit wide there on change of direction. Couldn't quite get it back into the apex, but still good to go. Turns in really early through this double apex left-hander. He's doing a great job withstanding all the pressure with only 5 minutes to go over Stuart Ellis, who finished second in that first race. So he's definitely got the pace, but Starkey has got the pace as well, as he just opens up that gap a little bit over the hump, and he's going to have a good position going into the final turn onto the main straight to possibly fend off Stuart Ellis for one more time here down into turn number 1.
Yeah, nice work. So we had someone much closer. I was about to cut to them. I think it was John Baldwin and Troy Davidson, but that gap very quickly jumped out to about 7 seconds. So there's someone off the side there again.
Troy Davidson, I believe?
Yes.
Possibly. Yep. Troy Davidson, I just from the colour of the car. So he's had a very eventful race. Very, very eventful race.
Yes, indeed. But out in front, Brett Parker's been able to maintain that lead at 3.5 seconds. And then David Christensen, so round we come with Brett Parker. Down the main straight, but just behind him a little bit is David Christensen. But now just 1.1 seconds behind is John Merritt, closing that gap down hand over fist. If we have a look at the timings they've been doing. Oh, he hasn't closed down that much over the last couple of laps, but that was much more than 1.1 seconds previously. 3.5 minutes to go, so I'd expect if we're in Formula One, we'd have a little graphic that popped up that passing opportunity in 3 laps. That we don't.
Yeah,
so it's my guess.
I'd agree, mate. He's catching and he's catching fast. He actually took 0.3 of a second out of David last lap. So we'll see what happens this time across the start-finish line. Nearly 3 minutes to go. We will be 3 minutes to go nearly exactly as they go across the line. So 44.5 plays a 44.4 from John Merritt.
Fastest
so just another tenth taken out. And that was the fastest lap of the race, mate. So he's coming and he's going fast and he's trying to hopefully get the second position and on the podium, but he's now got a lap car to deal with, so he's not going to be liking this. He'll want to make a move on that really quick, and he does, gets past, and eyes forward now, 2.5 minutes to go. Will John Merritt get David Christensen for second in the motor race? It looks like Brett Barker's off into the distance, all bar, everything, love and war, everything fair, and no mistakes. Brett Barker will take the win here for round number 9, but we don't want to put the commentator's curse on. This is the battle for second, and John Merritt will have a go. If he gets close enough, he will have a go. He's just taken out another 0.5 second over David Christensen that lap, so he's coming at him very fast. But the Murray Walker again, he can get to the back of him, but can he make a pass, as we've only got 2 minutes to go? So I'd suggest there will be 2 laps to go after this one.
Big wiggle.
Big tank flapper.
It's not like he isn't trying. He's got the special Mercedes spec wing on the back there, Brett Bradbury. And now he's well and truly into that draft area, 0.5 second. Watch him close down the main straight. We'll put that gap back up again, and you can watch that number in between their 2 names closing down 0.5, 0.45. Didn't close that much, but under brakes, look at the gain he makes. That's down to less than 0.5 second now, and nearly 0.3. So he's certainly putting the frighteners on him, and he makes a little error. Christensen just ran that little bit wide. He's looking in the mirror rather than looking forward, but he can feel John Merritt breathing down his neck.
Oh, and wouldn't that car be big in his mirrors, that big yellow beast? You wouldn't miss it, so he'll be mirror driving just a little bit, but only one more lap to navigate, I'd suggest, when they come across the line. We'll see whether Barney does give them the right flag or they've got another one to go. So through the final turn, we've clicked over a minute to go. We will have another one because it's only 40-second lap time. So 1 lap to go. 2 laps to go,
yep.
Sorry.
This one and then the final lap. So he's got that down to a quarter of a second. Lap traffic coming up in front as well, so hopefully that will work out. Guy Leach has just passed Aidan Schweikert for P6, a little bit further up. Schweikert's had a moment.
He's out of the race. Yeah, Schweikert's out of the race.
There he is. He's gone off with another car. Might be Wellman again. I'm not sure who was involved or why they were involved. Here comes Merritt having a look into the final corner. That is a ballsy move. He's thrown it down there, and Christensen's just gone, ain't nothing I can do about that. And this will be the last lap. We could see the white flag in the background.
Yeah, good heads-up driving there by David Christensen. He's in third now, so he's still got a podium. He'll get to talk to us at the end of this race. Good heads-up driving. He saw him coming and just let him go. He could have fought a little bit harder, but we would have ended up with 2 radicals in the wall, I'd suggest. So lap car, though, in front of John Merritt. Will that hinder him, and will that give Christensen one more chance? No, he's going to move over, is he? But we go on to your leader, Brett Barker. He's going to make his way through the final turn. And your winner, round number 9, the feature race, race number 2 of the Downforce Legends, is Brett Barker as he goes across the line. He took advantage of that reverse top 10, and second and third, Merritt and Christensen, as they were covered by less than a car length coming across the line there, mate.
Yeah, Chris Starks held out for a good 4th place up to. John Merritt was up 9, as we saw. He started in 11th place. But everyone's done a pretty sterling job to get through. Who's this guy, Leach, with Schweikert in behind? So we'll have a quick look at what happened there with Gary Wellman. I think actually, go back to this one. Gary Wellman, Schweikert's trying to get him. He's perhaps just a little impatient. He's just lost it all on his own, I would suggest. We'll have another look at that and see if we can see it from Aidan's point of view. Yeah, he's just had a little wiggle. Aidan had nowhere to go. He was just right on him trying to make a move down the straight, but unfortunate for both of them, got caught up in that. So, wow, that was quite an event, and Downforce Legends once again proves to be a thriller minute, or 45 seconds in fact this time round. So a very short, sharp assault as they went around, and we'll roll up the start of that event and see if we can get a few people in. Josh Leno's popped into the booth, and they kept you fairly busy there, Josh. There's plenty going on.
Yeah, most definitely. It's always a hard one on these tight and windy tracks, and lots of unforced errors as always in the SR8s, but no, the boys mostly kept it under control. A few unfortunate ones with close battling, but all around great respect out there, and yeah, good racing.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. I think it was Schweikert on latter. Schweikert went for the pass and then went to get back on the racing line. We both saw it as probably Aidan's error in cutting back across the front of ladder, but you saw it slightly differently. Do you want to explain that one, if you can recall it, amongst the 1,000 things that went on?
Yeah, I remember seeing Aidan. Aidan was well in control around the outside, and Michael didn't leave him any room and understeered and clipped him. So Aidan left more than a car's width, and yeah, he was entitled to the racing room on the outside, so Michael hit him.
As I said, Race Control has access to the onboards and angles all over the place, so it gives you a much better idea of, rather than us armchair race controllers looking at it once and going, oh, clearly that was just blah blah blah, but you know, the experience that you guys bring to it is always greatly appreciated.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. definitely just the presence in the booth often makes people drive a lot cleaner. So
That's
it's always good seeing
isn't it? Yeah.
racing. It's that virtual stick we hold over everyone's heads, is it? No, no, I'm sure everyone appreciates having a Sauron looking over a race on occasion. So definitely makes it better racing.
Well, you did a good job, mate. I'll just jump in and Grant, what we'll do, we'll bring up your final positions here for race number 2 of the Downforce Legends for round number 9, the penultimate round before we go into round 10 next week. But it was Brett Barker coming home with the win. He took the advantage of the reverse top 10 and he was never headed at the front, winning by 3.1 seconds over John Merritt. David Christensen home in 3rd, Chris Stark in 4th, Stuart Ellis rounding out your 5. Guy Leach home in 6th place tonight, Aaron Bryan in 7th, Michael Ladder in 8th, John Baldwin in 9th, and Troy Davidson with a really eventful race came home in 10th position, 1 lap down. Aidan Schwerkart, he's in the booth, will be with you very shortly, mate, in 11th position. He had a second race he'd rather forget with a few incidents. Todd Maxfield in 12th, Phil Butler in 13th, Gary Wellman in 14th, Wayne Visser in 15th. And now we go to all the guys which didn't finish the race. Matson, Knight, McClure, Rees, who didn't take the start, and neither did Philip Howe. So, mate, that is round number 9, race number 2 of the Downforce Legends here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club streams. Again, thank you for wherever you're tuning in and where you're tuning in from on our platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, whether it be Facebook or YouTube. Of course, we'll be with Aidan Schwerkart very shortly and have a chat to him. But don't go away as we wrap up the Downforce Legends, because we're going green again and we're going GT racing. It will be the GT4s from Imola. But before we get to that, Aidan, mate, welcome to the booth. You wouldn't want to be up here for the reasons you are. Thanks for jumping in and having a chat to us anyway, mate. Really great race number 1. Unfortunately, the reverse top 10 just couldn't convert to have another solid race as you did last week.
No, in that last one, got a little bit unlucky. Just got caught up in some incidents, but the first race went really well. But yeah.
Well, that's all right, mate. It happens. You definitely got a lot of broadcast time, so go back and have a look at that one. That move on the final lap to get the win in race number 1 was a great move, mate. And it looked like you had the speed there, but unfortunately just couldn't quite get that one done, mate. But we won't keep you long because we will wrap up this so we can have a little bit of a rest before we go into the GT4s, mate. But since you took the time to jump up into the broadcast booth, just give a little bit of a shout out to everyone involved in your sim racing, mate, and of course your real world karting.
Well, my own sponsors.
Whoever you want, mate.
My own sponsors are Jeremy Cross, GNL Motor Repairs and Performance, EMC Trailers, and Link Airways. Always want to thank my dad for helping me with all this, and my mum for letting me do it, and just the support from everyone in here, and my family and everyone.
Well said, mate. Well said. Won't be the last time we see you in the broadcast booth. Hopefully next time it's like round number 8 and it's for being at the front of the feature race. But Aidan, from all us at the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, great driving tonight, mate, and we hope to see you on the podium next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. It was 10th place rather for Aidan Schwerkart here in the final race, the winner of the first race. But Grant, first time commentating and being in the broadcast booth with you, I'd say with nearly over 2 years since doing an endurance, mate. That was a bit of fun. How'd you, quick wrap up of tonight's race before I do the final outro before we go on a little break before we bring everyone the GT4s?
Yeah, look, I thought it was terrific. The top of the crest of that little hill didn't prove quite so troublesome. The boys obviously dialed it in and into their brains and had that little lift. Make sure your car's straight as you come up and over it. Really close racing, and with really close racing comes the odd incident here and there. There you go with Michael Ladder having a wiggle in that exact spot, and that allowed Aidan to go through. But good racing all round. You need a bit of luck to go with you, and John Merritt didn't have that in the first race, but to end up second place second time around, that will do his championship aspirations if he has any. do him well in this field, but we know John loves the radicals, and he loves the set and forget fixed sets as well, that you can just hop in and have a real good crack. But brilliant racing. These cars are well suited to this tiny little track up there in Lakeville, Connecticut. And we go a little bit more up market with the GT4s heading to Interlargos, as you said. So we are on for a 9 p.m. start. So it looks like we'll, without anyone else to chat with, we'll have a good break for now. And we'll once we get the servers sorted, we will throw up qualifying without commentary, and towards the end of commentary we'll join you again to get on board with exactly what's going on around there. But I'll just run through the sponsors again, spare you the effort. Aidan, you're doing a great job, but we thank Player One Sim Gear for the Super 2 and 3s on a Monday night. Waste Options bring us the GT3s as well. Lobesy Racing, he is a big contributor to the up-and-comers on a Tuesday night, and a really big round of racing next Tuesday. 3 races, 3 half-hour races back to back to back, so that'll be an awesome night's racing, and I believe Adam Lavis is going to pick up the broadcast for that one. No GT1s, they'll be the following week after that. Orbic, of course, bringing us the GT4s in just about 20 minutes from now. And big thanks to Pete Matson, who's been a very, very long time supporter of the club, as well as a committee member. Sprayton's Cider, they'll bring you all of Thursday night's action from the Formula Vs through to the Porsche Cup for the penultimate round. Login Systems, they will bring us the Enduro on Sunday. It is Nürburgring, I think, 4 hour, so looking forward to that. M-Wave is Daniel Correa's contact to the club, and we thank him. There is an affiliate link if you want any computer gear at all, right from base to apex. You can get seats there, you can get mouses, mice, anything you like from a computer shop, and a few pennies from the affiliate link will come the way of the club, so you can help yourself and help the club out. Of course, Flash Graphics, John Simpson, has done a wonderful job for many years for the club, and has stepped back due to real-world commitments, but we, as always, thank John for his contributions and the wonderful club liveries he does. And that brings us to the end of that, Aidan. We will jump to a break and probably get back in about, what's that going to be, 16 minutes or so to get going with the GT4s, which should be absolutely awesome from Interlargos.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Well said, and thanks everyone tuning in. But yes, Interlargos, here we go. I did realise that I was saying Imola again. I don't know why, it's the eyes. But anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in here on our streams of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. That is round number 9 of the Downforce Legends, done and dusted. It was Brett Barker, John Merritt and David Christensen, your 3. Thanks again, Grant Gill. Great being in the box with you once again. Don't turn off your streams. Go and have something to eat. Grab a bite, a coffee or whatever your favourite beverage is. Settle in. We thank you for joining us here for the Downforce Legends. We look forward to bringing you all the action of the GT4s from Interlargos here on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club very shortly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Sim Racing Club for round 2 of the broadcast, not round 2 of the series, round 2 of the broadcast tonight. GT4s it is, Interlargos is your location. I hate trying to pronounce the full name of it, Grant, so I'm not going to on this occasion. In Sao Paulo, Brazil, GT4s. We're going to in a sprint format tonight. If you are still tuning in here on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, they are just about through qualifying. Only 15 seconds to go. So, Grant, we come off the Downforce Legends here for a sprint round in the GT4s. Definitely looking forward to this one as the boys are about to take the grid.
Yes, indeed. Let me just get rid of that waffle. Yeah, look, Trent Lavis. Gary Cousins, second place. That's a little bit out of where we found Gary. He's certainly very handy in a motor car, but his qualifying hasn't often been quite that strong. Sam Chapman, the usual suspects. We'll get through this and we'll have a look at the points coming into it if we get a chance. We'll have a rolling start here, but we'll have a look at the grid here, and it's Lavis from Cousins on row 1, Chapman, Moyes on row 2, Hammond and King row 3, Knight and Sharp row 4, and Paul Wood and Mark Gomes row 5. Over the page we go, and we've got Adam Lavis, David Christensen, lots of Aussie races in this. Row 6, Russ Green, Nick Fodiatis row 7, Jeff Adams, Kurt Chapman row 8, Dane Snadden, Philip Butler row 9, and row 10 is Robert McGrath and Liam Isles. I'll go with Isles, and on from there we've got Maddo and Newens, Dawson and Baz rounding out the field, and I think Michael Ladder as well. We'll have a real quick look at those points coming into it, and we can see it's pretty close. No Jordan Malcolm tonight, 360 from 353. Gary Cousins up there in the points as well, so he's doing a good job. And look at the spread of manufacturers. Jared Knight in 4th, Sam Chapman 5th, and it's... you can read the rest as you go. Hammond, King, Lavis, Sharp, Wood takes us back to 10. So plenty going on. Second last round of this series, and in fact the year. So really looking forward to what's going on. We'll have a quick look at some race info as well. I'll just rush through this a bit, Aidan. I'll throw back to you in just a moment. But 46 degrees on track. It is November 21, 2:03 in the afternoon. Looks like clock's travelling twice as fast as it normally would. 22 ambient, but 46 degree track temperature. Plenty going on there, Aidan. We're in for an absolute crack-a-jack, I should think.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. I don't know what happened there, Grant, but I couldn't hear you and my screen completely froze. So I don't know how that came across on the broadcast, and it's doing it again. It might be my end, actually, mate.
I just reset in case it was right. That's all good, mate. I covered off and just took control there. I didn't know if you were there or not, but because we're in a bit of a hurry, I just flipped through it pretty quick. But we're looking forward to some fantastic racing and about a half a track rollout. So you've got a little bit of time to have a chat about what you want to have a chat about here.
Well, Trent Lavers off the point again. The Aston showing a lot of speed there at the front, winner of round number 8. Good to see Gary Cousins in second position as well in the Bailey Ladders, number 58. GT4's always some great racing. There is where they're starting there on the qualifying results. We can't quite do the championship standings because they are making their way through the final 2 turns now, but we will be sure. My apologies, that's when it was frozen. So Sam Chapman doing a great job at the front. But anyway, through the final turn they'll come. Onto the big wind-up, ready for the pace car to come into the pit lane, and we will take the green flag, led by Sam Chapman here for race number 1, round number 9 of the GT4s. Orbic, brought to you by Orbic on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club streams. Yes. And we're about to go green, mate.
Yeah, Trent Lavis leading out. Cousins, I was saying, great quali from him tonight. Normally he works his way through the field, but this time he's starting right at the pointy end. We still have the old configuration of this track. It doesn't have the new S-bend pit entry, but the car will zip off to the left and we will be green. Trent Lavis will probably hold him right up to the line before he gets going, I suspect.
And we are green. 16 minutes to go, mate, here for race number 1. And Trent Lavers gets a great jump over Gary Cousins. And they're going to be 1-2 into turn number 1. But up the inside, Sam Chapman really early, and we're 2 wide, about 5 deep there. So everyone making their way through turn number 1 and 2 and 3. So very tricky section of the racetrack there. A big elevation change on the change of direction there, Grant, but everyone doing a great job for the first time of asking tonight. Down into the first heavy braking section, and Sam Chapman still trying to get the job done on Gary Cousins through the corner there, and he's going to get the job done. But Trent Lavers, he's got his head down. He's already out to a 1.5 second lead, and we're only 5 or 6 turns through race number 1. But good fighting and battles all the way down through the field. Dale Sharp there, he had a night to forget last week in the GT4s, I believe. He's always quick and makes his way up, but he didn't have the best of nights, so he'll want to get a good bag of points tonight. But they're still 2 wide in the background as Adam Lavers now, that's 1.5 seconds, that's what it looks like. And through the final, Sharp right-hander, and he'll have the double left-hander onto the main straight. Well, not double left-hander, 2 left-handers onto the main straight, and that'll be lap 1 in the books, but he's definitely got the hammer down early.
Yeah, he's been the beneficiary of Chapman having a big urge. Cousins been bumped back a couple of spots to 4th, but Chapman and Hammond, keep an eye out for those two, because they've got a little bit of history. As I've said before on our broadcast, just about everyone's got, and who's up near the front of the field has a bit of history with Michael Hammond, and these two are no strangers to a little bit of panel rubbing, a little bit of SMSing on the bumpers. But as you said, Trent Lavers jumped out to a 1.7 second lead. And then this will be on for young and old. It's Porsche, and then BMW with Bevan Moyes in 5th place there.
Yeah, Bevan Moyes, actually a little bit on Bevan as we're looking at Mark Gomes at the moment, and now back to Kurt Chapman. A little bit on Bevan Moyes. I believe I've done a bit of racing with him, but GT4s is not usually his wheelhouse. Him in we can't say the word because of the affiliation with iRacing, but
the
him
American
in that
Open Wheelers, yes.
Yeah, the American Open Wheeler. Him in one of them, you'll have a good job beating him. He is an absolute weapon.
He's pretty handy in the old F3 as well. He absolutely flies, and it was a big part of the Summit Sim Sports. I'm not sure if Summit Sim Sports is still an entity, or there's someone jostling around. Kurt Chapman in the red Porsche having a real ding-dong go there. But yeah, Bevan Moyes is a very handy peddler, and put him in just about anything, and he'll be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, and we're seeing that tonight. Down 1 position, of course, started out of 4th, in 5th, but that gap slowly eking out at the front as they're about to take the 3rd lap, so end of their 2nd lap. Sam Chapman trying to get away from Mikey Hammer Time Hammond up into the 3rd position, and Gary Cousins back 2 positions on the starting position into 4th, but Sam not quite able to break that toe there. So I reckon this battle's going to go on for the remainder of the 16 minutes. We'll have a look at the last lap times when they come across. 139.6 for your leader, Trent Lavers rather. 139.6 by Sam Chapman, actually quicker than your leader. And then 139.8 and a 140.1 respectively for Mike Hammond and Gary Cousins. So Sam putting the pedal down, trying to get away, but you can see how big the toe is because he's not quite getting away from Mike behind him, and there's a big battle group just ranging up into the back, and that's the top 10 right there on your screen.
Yeah, he's making sure he's not making it easy for Hammond to take that toe. Hammond going, I don't care if you go left or right, I got faith in myself, and once these tyres come up to temp, we'll have a little play then, shall we, Sam? But keep an eye out for that. I've got to find how to flick that over to laps and not time, because it's 10 laps followed by a 16 lapper. So bear with me while I locate that within the multitude of settings that we've got here, and I might just go quiet for a minute or two, and a lot of people say that's a good thing.
Yeah, not at all, mate. You've definitely helped me out a lot tonight. So you go do that, and I'll keep on board with the motor race. We'll stay on with this battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th on the racetrack. They're not really letting Sam Chapman get away. He hasn't extended his lead as he did early on. So now that they've settled in, the tyre temps have come up a little bit. It's sort of stagnated that lead at the front at about that 1.7 to 1.9 seconds. But this is the battle of the racetrack. 2nd and 3rd, Mike Hammond getting quicker now. The car's coming into the window a couple of laps in. Gary just sitting off the back at the moment. They won't have to pit in race number 1, but they will in race number 2. So fuel save mode, and Gary could be sitting there trying to utilise that at the moment just to see where the window is for race number 2, as he's sitting right in the draft of this battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Down to 1.7 seconds the lead of the motor race. 139.8 plays a 139.9 from Trent Labors and Sam Chapman. So trading blows at the front. The lap before it was Sam Chapman quicker by a 10th. This time around it was your leader Trent Labors quicker by a 10th. And it looks like he's getting through that section of the track a lot better than Mike Hammond behind. Back to Mark Gomes, that's the 10th position. So he's in behind Adam Labors at the moment. So Adam with a good start, started at 11th, up into 9th. But he's got Mark Gomes all over the back of him. Mark started out of 10th, and he is the second of the Mercedes on track. The next best being Paul Woodsy Wood in the Bailey Ladders, I believe, Mercedes. Just 2 cars in front of this battle at the moment. So lap 4, we've still got, it's saying 6 minutes to 16, but as David Christensen has a little bit of a excursion there on the exit of the corner, and that's Jeff Adams behind, that's David Christensen behind Kurt Chapman, rather. I should get that right. Kurt Chapman's always in the red Porsche, but this is a spicy little battle. Snadden, Dawson and Phil Butler in behind. Phil Butler, my teammate, did mention before the race, not happy with the BMW and he thinks he's slow, but he's doing it right at the moment. He's not up a position, he's not down a position, but he's in behind a nice little fierce battle here as we've just gone lap 5 already here for round number 9 of the GT4s from Interlargos. But Grant, I don't know if you're still working in the background. It's been a great race so far.
It has indeed. It's one of those things you can't see it for looking, and it'll there's 1,000 little controls in this program, and I have stepped away from it a little bit, so I'll get to it. But just remember, it's 10 laps rather than time, and as we go along, we'll find it. But I've said previously, there's a number of drivers that are going to be very strong and forthright in the way they go about their racing, and David Christensen's one of them. He will never leave a millimetre that he thinks might belong to him, and Kurt Chapman's another one. So when those two get together, I expect it to be very strong, very forthright, and no millimetre asked or given. So, or maybe plenty asked, but never one given. But all of a sudden, we've got Kurt Chapman involved in this battle with Adams now on his tail, and Snadden battling Adams. So those two will drop back a little bit, and Chapman can breathe just a little bit easy.
Yeah, and Phil Butler around the outside in the background, the blue BMW, he's on the right side of the track, so he's wanting to make a move. This is allowing Kurt Chapman to extend at the front. So, oh, sorry, that wasn't Phil Butler. I looked at the wrong thing. It was Jeff Adams. My apologies. Commentator 101 there. Look at your live timing. But anyway, back to Sam Chapman in second, 1.6 seconds. So that gap at the front has pretty much stagnated, mate, and stayed at around the 1.6 last time around, though. Sam Chapman, half a second quicker than your leader of Trent Labors. So Sam's obviously in the window now, and he's starting to push forward. He's broken that toe from Mike Hammond in 3rd position. He's still got Gary Cousins in behind as Mike goes really wide on the exit there of turn number 3. But I tell you what, mate, we're lap 6. We're half race distance, start of lap 6. Sam Chapman starting to turn the screws on the leader, but this is a pretty close battle here. Paul Wood up 1 position. He's right behind Dale Sharp. So nice little spicy battles here, pretty much from 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th down to where you see Paul Wood now in the 8th position, and then there's a bit of a gap back to Adam Labors, and Mark Gomes. So this will be a spicy little battle just to keep one eye on as the race unfolds.
Yeah, because up front, Labors just holding steady with that 1.5 second gap. Let's see how that's evolving over the sectors, perhaps. So we'll see where Sector 1, Chapman was clearly quicker through that first turn 1, 2, 3 sequence. The centre S, I believe it is. Just a little wiggle there. And then you can see Trent just holds him steady with it and sets his fastest 4th sector of the lap. So this will probably end up a small gain to Chapman. It's 1.3 at the moment, but I'd say Trent's probably doing a bit of managing, but as we can see, Chapman's worked out a good lead of about the same 1.8 seconds back to Michael Hammond, and Cousins in close company to Hammond. But you'll see, oh, look at that last sector. Chapman took a lot out of him, so it's down 1.3 seconds. We'll see if Sector 1 again proves to be falling in the Porsche's favour. Maybe the tyres are just working in with the fuel coming out. Not much in it, but we'll see how Lavis manages it. He loves this little Aston Martin, the way it drives, a little bit loose in the tail. He likes something that's a bit loose in the tail, he tells us, and the Aston Martin fits that bill perfectly.
Yeah, I think what we saw in the exit of the final turn the lap before, where he just ran a little bit wide, and with these cars with the lack of performance in terms of horsepower, a little tiny mistake like that can drop you a couple of tenths. We did mention in the Downforce Legends, a tenth here, a tenth there. It all evolves to lap time, whether it be better or worse. So I reckon that was where the couple of tenths came from. But Richard King at the moment, this is the battle between Richard King, Paul Wood and Dale Sharp. So this continues to rage on, lap 7 into 10. And Woodsy's possibly going to want to make a move here on Dale Sharp, but he'll want to get it done nicely and nice and cleanly. In front of them as well is, you can see Bevan Moyes just up the road. So still 5th on the cards here for Paul Wood in race number 1, as we are now about to take lap 8 of 10. And it's gone so quickly, mate. Around a long track, nearly 1 minute 40 lap times already. We're taking lap 8 and only 3 laps to go. See who's going to win race number 1, round number 9 of the GT4s here at Interlargos, as a car went a little bit wide there on the entry of turn number 1, but he kept that. But back to the lead of the motor race, and it's under a second. Yeah, so that's what a second looks like.
Yeah, end of the draft. So expect to see Chapman start to close that down a little bit more. Through the infield it won't benefit him too much, but on that long straight, look out for that.
Yeah, sectors 1 and 4 seem to be his strengths, and looks like Trent just keeps him at bay through the middle sectors. But this time around, through this middle sector, we'll just watch that. It's at about 0.7 of a second, so he's taken another couple of tenths out. And it looks like he's just coming forward at a rate of knots at the moment, and he's got this Porsche absolutely hooked up, and we'll see whether he gains another little bit as they go through the next change of direction, and they'll make their way onto the back end of the circuit, which has been the strength of Sam Chapman here early on, lap 8 of 10, and see whether he can get even closer, because if he does get closer, he's going to be even more so in that draft and put himself in a position to possibly make a move. And they're definitely trying. Big wiggle there by Trent Lavers and Sam Chapman running wide on the exit there. So they're definitely trying at the front here, mate, as we're about to go 2 laps to go here for race number 1.
Yes, indeed. Look at that gap coming down. Lap 3, it was 1.7. Now we're down at 0.9. Trent's and the Aston Martins are always good on horsepower, but watch as the draft starts to pull Chapman in. Porsche very handy through this centre S's section, and look at him close up. It's down to 0.9. And he'll look to get a great exit out of here and drag up to the back of Lavis and see if he can put some pressure on. Might be getting a bit late in the piece, but he's going to give it his best shot, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, if you have time and bring up the last lap times, Trent Lavers has responded. So identical lap times, 1:39.9 plays 1:39.9. Last lap around from your 2 leaders. Quickest car, 139.8 rather, by Mike Hammond in the 3rd position. So I think it's too late for Mike to have something to do with this result for the lead if they do start fighting. But Trent Lavers has definitely responded with only a lap and a half to go. Dale Sharp still having this battle, which keeps going. As Paul Wood takes the opportunity up the inside there, as Dale Sharp runs very wide on the exit, and he's going to sacrifice that position to Paul Wood. So Paul Wood now up into the 7th position.
Great.
Nick Fodiatis.
This is leading this one out with Gomes. Hasn't been able to get by him. And then Fodiatis, Green, Christensen, all part of that pack.
Yeah, it's a juicy little pack, isn't it, for the back end of the top 10. So anything can happen here, as we'll have one more lap to go. Nick Fodiatis has had a good start, up 3 positions. He's actually one of the biggest movers apart from Michael Latta down in 19th in race number 1.
Barney
But Barney waves the white flag.
Yep.
And 0.6 of a second is the gap between the leader of Labour's and second, Sam Chapman. Dale Sharp, very late on the brakes there into turn number 1. Lucky not to get in the back of Paul Wood, but he's going to be in a good position down into turn number 4 to possibly snatch that position back from Paul Wood late on in this one with a lap to go, mate.
Yes, indeed. Let's have a look at this. The gap between those two is just 1/4 of a second. Will he be close enough to throw it down the inside? The Merc's got the legs on him, so he's just got to hope to be nice and close. Final lap, as we said, and hopefully get a great exit of that final corner and up the main straight. 0.4 of a second, the gap up front.
Yeah, it's definitely closed down up front, but is it too little too late? Sam Chapman, he runs really, really deep into there, tries to get it rotated, he does so, gets a good exit. Is he going to be close enough to get the draft down the main straight to try and take it on the line? I'd suggest that's what he's waiting for. Not many passing opportunities left, so it will be a drag to the start-finish line here for race number 1, round number 9 of the GT4s. He's not quite close enough. He's going to want to get a good run off the final turn.
And he has.
Adam Laver's in, and he has. Is he close enough? I think he's a little bit too far away, but down the main straight we go. Race number 1, round number 9, GT4s, Interlargos. Your pole sitter, Trent Lavers, off the pole, and he's going to hold on and get the win here for race number 1. A little bit to go to the line, but Sam Chapman just a little bit too far back. But I tell you what, that's something to look out for race number 2. Mikey Hammond comes across in 4th, Cousins, Moyes, King, and the rest of them keep making their way across the line. But mate, that's something to look out for race number 2. Sam Chapman, a lot of pace. But what fuel are they using? We do have the fuel strategy coming into the next one. They won't take tyres, it'll all be fuel. So can they save it? We have seen the master of Matty Dench do it, and he came in and showed the boys a clean set of heels just a round or 2 ago. Who's going to take that mantle tonight? We're about to find out.
Yes, indeed. Great racing there. Hot track temperature, as we said. It was 46 degrees. It's 2:45, or nearly 20 to 3 in the afternoon. That's come down a couple of degrees, 42. Ambient's only 22, so there's plenty of UV, as they like to call it. I think the supercars boys like to say there's plenty of UV on the track. What they don't quite understand is ultraviolet doesn't warm things up. It's more the infrared, but they love to use the UV, and who are we to tell them otherwise? But we'll see how that temperature changes as we jump into the second sprint race. But there's plenty of action going on. Difficult to know just where to look, but Lavis looked like he had it pretty comfortably in hand.
It looks like it did. We'll just quickly bring up your results for race number 1. We haven't quite got that yet.
Through at the moment. We're just waiting for someone. Nick Fodiatis, I think, is maybe coming across the line. We'll get them as soon as we can. But
Nick must have had in the last lap because he was fighting for a battle in the top 10. And he actually did, because he finished down in 21st. So
there we go.
Nick Fodiatis with an issue there, but. We'll bring up your results quickly before we go into race number 2. So the results for race number 1, round 9 of the Orbic Australia GT4 Challenge from Interlargos. It was your pole sitter, Trent Lavers, just 0.3 of a second the better of Sam Chapman. Mike Hammond, Gary Cousins and Bevan Moyes rounded out your 5. Richard King, Paul Wood, Dale Sharp, Adam Maverick and Mark Gomes came home in the 10th position for race 1. Russ Green 11, Dane Schnaden in 12th. Kurt Chapman in 13th, Jeff Adams in 14th, Phil Butler in 15th, Robbie McGrath in 16th, Michael Latta in 17th, Pete Matto Matson in 18th, Liam Isles in 19th, and Shane Newens rounded out your 20 starters for race number 1. They're currently in warm-up, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you're enjoying all the action. One more race to go here on the GT4 Challenge from Interlargos. It is a 16-lap race, I believe, of course. Yes. Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, proudly supported by Player One Sim Gear. For all your sim gear, p1simgear.com.au. A big thank you to Waste Options being a part of the streams and the club. Without those guys, we don't go racing. Lobesy Racing, a very big part of the club, as you know, Grant, and does a lot behind the scenes. So a big thank you to that. to him.
And that is, of
Orbic,
course, Trent Lavis, who won our last race. So loves racing, loves giving back to the club.
100%, mate, and a good man to boot. So thank you so much, Trent, and can drive as well. Orbic, of course, the naming rights sponsor of the GT4 series here from Interlargos. Sprayton cider rather than non-alcoholic cider, the newest sponsor on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Big thank you to them. Support them. I've heard it's a nice little drop, that non-alcoholic cider. So if you enjoy a nice refreshment, jump on and purchase.
I believe they've got a quite comprehensive range of adult drinks as well that the gentlemen and ladies might enjoy when they're not having a non-alcoholic cider. So they're the ones maybe after hours to have a little sip of.
Yeah, possibly, definitely do that. But I'll be doing the non-alcoholic one, mate. I'll try that one first.
Yeah.
But login systems. Managed IT business solutions. So if you've got anything, if you own a business or you run a business and you need some help with your IT and stuff like that, login systems, jump onto them. Of course, you can find all these links across the website and everything if you see that way inclined. M-Wave, Daniel Criasar, part of that as well. So M-Wave, big supporter of the club. And jump across and support them if you have any computer type stuff as well, I believe. Flash Graphics, of course, as you said, John Simpson doing all the club liveries and all the overlay stuff, I believe, for the club, or historically did. Flash Graphics, big supporter.
Mostly liveries is John's kit. He will do a lovely livery for you for a small fee as well, but he's done a lot of liveries for the club that are available for anyone at all.
Well, jump on and support John, because it's all. I know I can't do liveries to save my life, so I'm lucky I've got a guy that does them for me in my team. But tell you what, it takes a lot of time. So for a small charge, definitely jump on if you are looking for a livery. But we're under pace car conditions for race number 2, and it will be status quo. I know, actually, it will change because it's an invert top 10. So we'll bring up your starting grid really quickly as they go around under the formation lap. It will be Mark Gomes and Adam Maverick off the pole, Dale Sharp and Paul Wood off the second row, Richard King and Bevan Moyes off your third, Gary Cousins and Mikey Hammond off your fourth, and Sam Chapman and Trent Lavers your first and second place getters in race number 1 off the 5th row. 6th row Russ Green and Dane Snadden, 7th row Kurt Chapman and Jeff Adams, 8th row Phil Butler and Robbie McGrath, 9th row Michael Ladder, Pete Matson, Liam Isles and Shane Newens will round out your 10th row and your 20 starters here for race number 2. Longer race, there will be a pit stop, there will be fuel. Who's going to save the fuel the best? Who's going to get the jump through pit lane? We're about to find out as we go green flag racing here for round number 9, race number 2 of the Orbic Solutions GT4 Challenge. So to the line they go. Will Mark Gomes back the field up? We saw Trent Lavers do that in the first one. He got the jump off the start. Mercedes versus Aston Martin at the front. Here we go. Pace car about to go into pit lane. Peels off any moment now, starts making his way in, and the field is in the hands of Mark Gomes. And we're about to go green. When is he going to jump? Now. We wait for it. He's jumped now. So he's got the good jump. He's done exactly what Trent Laver's done, and he's going to be clean into turn number 1, but we're going to see 2-3 wide action all the way through the field as they make their way into
the inside. It's Chapman. Oh, that was a very late dive up alongside Lavis, but Lavis has got that position. I think, yes, he has already. That's one position gain for Lavis. Chapman will fight it to the bitter end, but then you've got Moyes and Wood having a battle alongside. Look at Kurt Chapman as well. Back to you, Aidan.
Yeah, great battle here between Lavers and, sorry, I'm trying to catch up, Lavers and Chapman, but Chapman just airs on the side of caution. Then he tried really hard to get the job done on your race 1 winner, because we saw he was quicker at the back end of that first 10-lap sprint. He couldn't quite get that done. But status quo, we've got to move up the inside there at the front. That's Bevan Moyes making a move up into the 4th position.
Oh,
and
around they go.
Big incident. We'll go back and have a look at that one shortly. It looks like Paul Wood was involved in that one. So Paul Wood facing the wrong direction early on in this race. But Mark Gomes has shown a clean set of heels and he's jumped. But Adam Lavers in 4th position at the moment. He's down one. He's down one. So that's Bevan Moyes right in behind him at the moment.
Sorry, there's some graphics that'll make life easier for us all.
I'm just looking at live timing in the screen going, yep, that matches where they are on the track. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, still getting used to some of the new guys' liveries like Bevan Moyes. I haven't done a lot of calling on him in the GT4s, but definitely no Lavers and the boys. But Mark Gomes now off into the distance. He's doing what Trent Lavers did in the first one, and he's gapped them by 1.3, but the battles are everywhere. Phil Butler with a great start in this one, up 4th into the 11th position in the BMW. So he said he wasn't happy with the BMW, as it looks like Trent Lavers makes the move on him down the inside. So that's Trent making his way back up. And Trent Lavers must have got hindered by that incident with Paul Wood there, because he was...
cars off in the background.
That looks like I've just put the commentator's curse on Phil Butler.
Jeff Adams is a big involvee of that. So let's have a look quickly at Paul Wood's incident. So he's on the outside here, and he just loses it. Car goes light around there as he's probably shifted down. Yes, Trent Lavers was held up on his way through there. We'll jump back live. It looks like Peter Matson's copped a 10-second penalty car incident with Robert McGrath. We'll have a quick look at that one whilst it's relevant. And this will be just a big dive down the inside, locks it up. If he kept it under control, that might have been okay, but he did lock it up, lose control, and that is a requirement for a pass and a dive bomb like that to go around. So let's have a look. It looks like Dane Snadden was a big part of that incident, but there is a moment for Philip Butler. So what happened to Philip? Is he going to get into? No, he's just got loose on the outside, and he's got a bump from the car behind. So that has triggered all sorts of mayhem with Dane Snadden involved with that, and Pete Matson, I think, forced off the track as well as a result. But plenty going on there. Michael Hammond sets fastest lap of the race at 1:39.72, down in 5th place.
He's actually just been pipped. The leader's just done a 1:39.6. Mark Gomes. Oh, another big incident, and I don't know if that was a replay again. But yeah, 1:39.6 Mark Gomes last time around. So very close, a 10th quicker than the man you said, Sam Chapman. So Mark Gomes doing a great job at the front, but Nick Fodiatis, tell you what, he has a bit of bad luck, Nick, and he's going to be a little bit filthy. We'll see what happens here down turn number 1. He goes very deep under brakes and just gets collected through the apex of the corner. Nice. So similar to what we saw in the Radicals with Aiden earlier, mate. Yeah. So very similar incident, and Shane Newlands just collects the wall for just to finish it off a little bit as he tries to rotate the car. Yeah,
it's such a wide entry into that corner that it's very hard to know where the other drivers are. This is Sam Chapman. He's going to go around all by himself, do exactly what Paul Wood did at the top of the hill there. Or is that a little bit further on? It's a little bit further on, but you get a little bit of the outside grass there, and it'll do that to you. But it looked like he just went in a bit hot. That's where
so easy to do, mate.
Yeah, that's where Lewis Hamilton had his big off and went into the wall, didn't he? A few seasons back as well.
100%. And you can see there, you know, we've seen incidents pretty much throughout the field here in this 16-lap feature race, but the likes of Sam Chapman, who pretty much was fighting for that win in race number 1 and was the quickest car on track on a lot of occasions, it can catch you out that quickly. So even drivers of that caliber and that fast, it's that quick that it can happen. But that's 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th on the racetrack at the moment. So Sharp, Moyes, Maverick and Mikey Hammond. These guys are going to want to work together and possibly do a bit of fuel saving here to try and undercut Mark Gomes or overcut Mark Gomes on the pit strategy, because Mark's going to be using a lot more fuel here in the Mercedes out at the front. So just keep an eye on this as the laps tick down, and if these guys work together, and we're back to Trent Lavers making his way back up from the 10th position. He did drop a little bit down, just trying to navigate through that incident earlier with Woodsy, I think it was. So he's trying to make his way back up. But I'm very interested with this fuel, mate. GT4 is very fuel dependent, and we have seen the likes of the likes of drivers really be able to utilise that fuel and gain a lot of positions through the pit lane. So whether we'll see that again tonight, I'd suggest we will with the very long straights. If you can just utilise that draft and back off just that quarter throttle a little bit where you can, or just back off into that braking zone just that 15, 20 metres earlier than you would, you'll save that little bit of fuel. And if you can go one extra lap, that's going to be one less lap of fuel you need to take and less stationary time through pit lane. Of course, they will not take tyres in the 16-lap race. If you do, you'll find yourself going backwards and hemorrhaging spots at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So if you are watching the broadcast drivers, I suggest you drive first, but there's your hot tip. But anyway, Labour's in behind Russ Green in the 9th and the 8th position. So Russ Green second to the Mercedes, so the Mercedes leading at the way at the front at the moment, 1.8 seconds. Already lap 5, mate. Time flies around here. What great racing it is.
It is indeed. GT4 is always full of action, and the sprint races just compress that down all the more, especially with the reverse top 10. But Mark Gomes shown a clean pair of heels. He's had the benefit of fresh air out in front, and then everyone from Dale Sharp back to about Gary Cousins in a very tight battle. And the minute you're starting to have your attention distracted by other cars in close proximity, you start slowing down. You lose that tenth, you lose those couple of tenths, and it enables a car running in clean air but without slipstream to just work his way forward. Gary Cousins now sets fastest lap of the race, 1:39.24. Just tenths between each of them, and that was probably courtesy of a fairly significant draft, but that's Adam Lavis just in front of him.
Yeah, great lap time there, mate. 1:39.2. That's actually the best lap of the session so far by a good, well, it's quicker than Trent Lavers, who did a 1:39.278, but apart from that, it's 2-3 tenths quicker than the rest of the field. 10-second penalty to car 730, Shane Newens, racing room with car 99, Nick Fodiatis on lap 3, so that's the incident with Nick. Already drivers jumping down into pit lane, so we've had some early blinkers already, just lap 6 into 16, so just 2 more laps to go, and we're already going to be halfway through. Dale Sharp's the first of the pitters, and down he comes. So
look at him go, giving Bevan Moyes all sorts of hurry up.
He's really using that side draft, getting very close.
He is.
Can he get the job done under brakes? Bevan's not going to give it to him easy. And there we
Little
go.
tap.
He just turns in a little bit. That's all fair in love and war. A little bit of a 1x there, I'd suggest, for Bevan, but he gets the job done. So Mikey Hammond up into the second position. So he's not happy to sit there and save some fuel. He thinks he's faster. And Bevan has a little bit of a sneaky look there up into the right-hander and couldn't quite get it done. Not that there was a passing opportunity, but he's just positioning that BMW into the mirrors and trying to make Mikey make that mistake. But I'm going to focus on the fuel. I really want to see what this fuel does. David Christensen in the battle here as well. That's Dane Snedden and Snadden. Say that 3 times quick.
Oh, that's
Wood.
very close, and tucked in there as well is Michael Ladder, I think, in the Porsche. But Josh is nothing if not consistent. The same incident similar to Schweikert and Ladder was ruled in almost exactly the same way between Fodiatis and the other driver there that Nick came across the track, but the other car did not have a right to be in there.
No, exactly right, mate. And that's the rules. They're obviously judged by the rules. And as we mentioned in the Downforce Legends, the race control do go on and have a look at different braking, steering and accelerator inputs at particular incidents to see what a particular driver is doing. But yes, same outcome for 2 very similar incidents in 2 very different cars. But Mikey Hammond, he's put the hammer time down, as his nickname says, and he's starting to gap Bevan Moyes. He's put half a second on, and he wasn't quicker than your leader last time around. So Mark Gomes still doing a great job at the front, nearly half race distance. But he's making his way forward at the moment. So we'll just keep an eye on that to see whether Mikey can close that gap down on your leader. But it looks like Mark's doing a great job at the front at the moment. It's going to take something special for these guys to catch him.
Yes, indeed. Mark set his fastest lap of the race that last time round, 39.636, which is still about 4 tenths off the fastest lap of the race. But I think Michael will have had a look there and gone, I'm not comfortable with that gap out in front, so I'm going to get past Bevan Moyes, and we'll deal with the fuel consequences a little bit later on. Back in the field, Trent Lavis and Dale Sharp having a ding-dong battle, and Photiadis and Knight as well. But plenty going on across the course of the field. Snadden and around he goes, Dane Snadden, and that was David Christensen. Once again, I click the button, and it's like there's a direct link between me and the physics model. But apologise for that, Dane.
Yeah. Don't worry, Phil will be swearing at me when I get off the broadcast for mentioning his name, and then he had the incident as well, mate. So we're doing a great job. But Hammond in out of 4th position, so he had clear air too. Yep. So getting it done early and hoping he can get clear track and get out and set some of the fastest laps of the race. Mark Gomes still staying out at the moment. Dale Sharp right in behind Robbie McGrath, and Trent Lavers is not having it as all his own way in this one. Started 10th, and he's struggling to make his way forward, only up into 8th on the pit stops.
Big dive from Sharp there on Robert McGrath, and we are looking at Trent Lavers. He's possibly biding his time, maybe doing a little fuel saving, or maybe that's just the cards he's been dealt with this time through. He did get caught up in that incident with Paul Wood, and he's down 6 places from his starting. He's up 2 positions from his starting position. So he'll be keen to pull up to the back of Kurt Chapman and then have a think about what's going to happen with fuel. But Mikey Hammond, interestingly, only dropped back to P6 through the course of those pit stops, so didn't lose a lot of track position out of all of that.
No, just a quick splash and dash, enough to get to the end. They did have 10 laps in race number 1, and they didn't have to fuel up to get to the end, so only 6 extra laps. So there won't be a lot of fuel that they need to put in, especially if you have some fuel saving. So, and we're talking it could be 2 or 3 seconds difference if you get it wrong. So, and the lead of the motor race at the moment is 3 seconds, and Mark Gomes over Bevan Moyes. Gary Cousins on board with at the moment. That's Adam Lavers in front. So they're going to go around again. Bevan Moyes into pit lane. So there's the blinker out a second. That puts Mark Gomes with a 4-second gap now, and Adam Lavers and Gary Cousins still to come through pit lane. So it's all looking good for Mark Gomes at the moment, but we've got to keep one eye on the background as this race does progress with Mikey Hammertime Hammond. Did he pit too early? We're about to find out in the next couple of laps.
Good run from Cousins here. Teammates, so they'll be in the Discord together, and looks like Lavis is running. He's running a different strategy to you. So he's let his teammate zip on by, and maybe that'll help him save a little bit of fuel. But just looking, Michael Hammond, if I switch the interval over to gap, we see how far they are from the leaders. 24.3 seconds Hammond is from the leader. So we'll keep that in the back of your mind, and we'll see how that evolves as the rest of them start to come in the pit.
What I'd really like to know, if we could get it, is how long the transition time down pit lane was from Mike Hammond. That'll give us an idea of the gap on whether he's expected to come out in front of the leaders. So that'd be interesting. I can't see that on the live timing.
There we go. It was 30.5 seconds. However, you have to take off the time that it takes a car to go from pit entry to pit exit as well. So you can never be quite too sure. I'd say you're in the vicinity of 22 seconds or so. If you think it's a very long way from the top of the hill to the exit of the pits.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, mate. And Mark Gomes obviously thinks that, because he's just said his quickest lap of the motor race, 1:39.402. So Trent Laver's on board with at the moment, but I'm just keeping one eye on the live timing of Mark Gomes, because I'm interested to see how this does all play out. But Trent Laver's there. Kurt Chapman, Bevan Moyes, he's gone through pit lane, and he's come back out in 7th place respectively on the track. Still currently sitting in the 4th position on corrected order, but this is something to keep an eye out on here, as we're going to see Gomes, Cousins and Adam Lavers come into pit lane in the next lap or two, I'd suggest.
I would say pretty spot on there, but good gap out in front, 4.1 as the cars behind him did go into the pits, exactly as you say. Left with Gary Cousins, Adam Lavers and Hammond, the first of the pitters, is just 19.2 seconds. What did we say before? It was 24 or something like that. So Hammond is absolutely on a charge.
Yeah, most definitely. He's been quick. He's one to watch here. It'll be a battle of these two, I'd suggest, but don't write off Trent Lavers and Kurt Chapman, because they're right in behind Mike and just following him up through as well. But I might just take...
Hammond goes wide on the exit there. That's brought Lavers right into it. He'll dive down the inside. He'll get that tight entry. Has Hammond got the legs to get around the outside? This is going to make the turn on the main straight very interesting, and very possibly give Gomez a leg up over the course of this lap indeed. All the other cars are pulling right in. Gary Cousins has come into the pits.
Yeah, Cousins into the pits, and Gomes, I call him Gomes, will get confirmation at the end. But he'll be licking his lips with what he'd be seeing on his relative at the moment, with Gary and Adam Lavers battling.
Cost them five seconds. The gap between Hammond and Gomes is 25 now, and it was a 140 for Hammond that time round. So that cost a stack of time.
100% it did. That's not ideal, but never know. As you can see, Gary coming out onto the track, so he's going to blend in behind Bevan Moyes. Dale Sharp might get past him as well. You've also got Rd-9 there, I believe, as well. So no, that's Bevan Moyes just gone past, and Kurt Chapman, and Dale Sharp does get the job done. So Gary Cousins comes out in 8th position after pitting from that little battle pack. But this is the battle pack for the minors at the moment, and that's led by Trent Lavers, which is 3rd on the racetrack at the moment. So it's definitely heating up, and a battle pack here of 6 cars.
Yeah, so Trent got past, ended up getting past Michael Hammond there. I'll see if I can see that. No, I can't, just off the top of my head, so we'll move on from that. But the pressure that Trent put on clearly paid dividends for him, and made that pass on Hammond. Let's have a look.
Mike, Mikey will want to utilise this here, because we'll go back and have a look at that pass. Just got a great run off the final turn.
He did.
And straight down the inside, and he's on the right position. He actually gets the job done before they get into the braking zone, even before they get down the main straight. So Mikey just drops in behind him. Adam will cover off into turn number 1 here, I'd suggest. He's got a good run. That Aston's got some legs, I tell you.
Yes.
And down into turn 1, doesn't even have to cover off, and gets that done. So Mikey going from the man that we thought was going to battle the leader.
Gomes has come in, and he's on his way out, and he's lost a stack of places.
He has hemorrhaged spots like you haven't believed. Wow, that is so different to what I thought was going to happen.
And his last lap wasn't particularly slow. It's 142, but that's with the pit stop in there. So here we go. This was the battle for 2nd. It's now the battle for 1st, and there's 7 of them pretty much involved in it. A bit of a gap between Hammond and Kurt Chapman in 3rd, but this is on for young and old with about 7 minutes 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, and Trent's played his cards well here. We were just talking about him just a couple of laps ago, sitting down in the 10th or 11th. That's because he pitted early.
He did.
And he put himself in that position, utilised the fuel, utilised the track, made the moves where they were, and he's got the lead of the motor race. So he's come from nowhere, coming from, caught up in that incident earlier, putting himself deep into the pack. He's made every post a winner, and now leading the motor race over Mike Hammer Time Hammond. But this is the battle here. Chapman, Moyes, Sharp and Gary Cousins. 4 laps to go, and it's the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th on the racetrack.
Yeah, so the undercuts worked an absolute treat. You look at the top 5 are all early pitters. Lap 6, 7, 8, 5. The overcut hasn't worked so well. Anyone lap 10, 11, 11. They've lost a stack of time, so it's worked very much to the advantage of the early pitters. So well thought out and well executed.
It really surprised me though with Mark Gomes. I'm going to keep elaborating on this with 4 laps to go. It surprises me from a racer's point of view because he was the quickest car on track or thereabouts. He had clear air in front. He would have been stationary less than the likes of Trent Lavers and the likes. They were battling, but he still came up came out in 8th position, so he must have had an issue through the pit stop. Obviously, yeah, don't know. Interesting, but he won't be happy with that, but still solid. 8th position from him. He's still got time to make a couple more positions up.
Yeah, so if we have a look, his pit stop was 35.8. Good 7 seconds faster than Trent Lavis, 5 longer, sorry, than Lavis and Hammond. And 7 slower, sorry, I'll get that right, than Chapman and the likes in there. The average pit stop looks to have been around 30. Trent Lavis was down in that 28.5. And who's got that short? Kurt Chapman had a 28.8. Who we haven't seen much of is Sam Chapman tonight for this second race. He's still stuck down in 10th spot. And then very lonely 10th as well. He's got no one to play with whatsoever, so he's just...
Well, he did have that incident, mate, where he was facing the wrong direction.
Yes.
So that's what put him down there. So that's been the rod that killed his back in tonight's race. But just going back to those pit stop times, 6.6 seconds Mark Gomes is off the lead of this motor race. If he would have had that, something's happened in the pit stop, overfueled or done something, it would have put him 2 seconds up the road from this battle pack in the lead. So that's why he's sitting down in that big moment by Kurt Chapman. He's going to hemorrhage a couple of spots there. Moyes is through, Sharp's through.
Wow.
He's going to hold it on the inside, will he? No, he won't. And Gary Cousins following. We're having a watching brief there in behind. He'll be licking his lips. It's getting into the last couple of laps. Has a big look up the inside. He's going to be on the wrong side of the road for the change of direction.
I told you he was punchy.
Yeah, he loves to have a drive.
Let's have a look at that. Overhead will probably do the trick for us. He's had narrow entries, defended a little bit on the way, and he's gone very, very wide indeed and lost all that time as he may have even had a slowdown there. Perhaps, maybe not. He's got back on it, but yeah, that was very costly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a couple of spots, but he came back and he tried to make one more. Couldn't quite get it done. He was on the wrong side of the road from Dale Sharp there, but he'll have another go, no doubt, before the race is out. About to go lap 15, just 2 laps to go here, round number 9 of the Orbic GT4 Challenge from Interlargos, and it is your race 1 winner, Trent Lavers, leading the way over Mike Hammond in second, Bevan Moyes in 3rd position. 2 laps to go, mate. The racing's been absolutely astounding tonight. There has been some incidents, but God, this has been some good racing and strategy here for race number 2.
It has indeed, and Trent Lavis has once again shown the master that he is of all of this. Lights are on the cars now, and that opening, the opening 3 places has really started to stretch out. There's 1.4 from Lavis to Hammond, and then 1.5 from Hammond back to Moyes. You mentioned Moyes early on as not a real common visitor to the GT4 ranks, but doing a damn fine job of it. Then we've got Dale Sharp made his way up to 4th, but 4th place is in no way or means decided here, because you have a look there and there's cars half a second, third of a second, half a second between them as they go around. 24.50, so just down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And a 1 minute 40-ish lap. We'll get this one in probably, and then one more.
Well, I'm not sure it'll be... Well, this will be the final lap because it's a 16-lap race.
That's correct.
I believe.
That's
you
correct.
said,
Yes, I did. So I still haven't found that bloody button.
You're just having a Schultzy moment, mate. It's all right. I have them often, mate. It's fine. But we're going white flag, and Trent Lavers, Barney, you saw it waving there. But Gary Cousins now all over the back of Kurt Chapman. So Kurt was trying to chase down Dale Sharp, but now he's got Gary Cousins all over his mirrors. Gary really deep into turn number 1. Will he pull it up? Looks like he will. And that's a position for Gary up inside the top 5. That's brought Adam Lavers back into a battle for this as well. And if anything happens, he might be able to get a couple of cheeky spots here on the last lap as they make their way down through turn number 4 into the heavy left-hander braking zone here on the final lap.
Battle of the McLarens back here. That's what I would have been in tonight if I'd got out on track, and I probably would have been behind these 2 gentlemen, Richard King and Jeff Adams, but teammates by the looks of them, Ramrod Racing, and Ramrod Racing, yep, both running the Macca and looking fine and resplendent. They don't have the fire barking out the back of them, but they're looking good, the boys there at Ramrod Racing. Look at Trent Lavis, Adam Lavis. He wants a piece of this, but he just lost it through the top there a little bit. I don't think he'll get there.
Yeah, a little bit too far back. They've sort of got gaps now where I think that it's going to stay that way. But Trent Lavis, just a couple of corners to go to navigate, and he will become back-to-back winners here on the Orbic GT4 Challenge. He was the winner last week, and he comes out of the final turn, and Trent Lavis will take race number 2 and the feature race here for round number 9 of the Orbic GT4 Challenge here from Interlargos as he makes his way down the straight. What a drive, absolutely dominant at the front. Trent Lavis in the Aston Martin goes across the start-finish line and will take home P number 1 over Mikey Hammond. And Bevan Moyes, the open wheel man in the GT4, holds on for a 3rd place here tonight as they all go across the line, mate. What great racing. I can't wait to have a chat to him after this one.
Indeed, and of course Trent just did a little bit of a Max Verstappen and decided the second last lap of the race he'd pull out the fastest lap of the race with a 1:38.73. So just thumbing the nose a little there, as he has every entitlement to do so.
Well, he took every point tonight and he just thought, oh, I'll just take another one. So I'll just go get fastest lap. So fastest lap in both races and 2 wins.
Just
can't take any more points than that.
Yeah, make it easy for his brother when he's doing the points tally. Just put all the bonus points straight onto Trent's block, and that'll make things nice and easy.
Yeah, 100% as they keep coming across the line. Nick Fodiatis on board. He's gone across the line. Dane Snadden. Michael Ladders come across. Isles has come across. Newens is coming across. They're all coming across. Here's Shane Newens now. He's just making his way through the final turn in the BMW, the old Liqua Molly BMW. Good livery that brings back some memories. But he'll make his way up down the main straight and he will come home in 21st position. He'll be the last car to finish the race. And across he comes, mate.
Yes, and I'm sure anyone who's watched the Formula One will know that the name Interlargos in what do they speak Spanish there? Interlargos, between the lakes. As you go to a high, wide, and handsome shot, you'll see the lakes off in the distance. So between the lakes is Interlargos. Fairly easy to fathom that one out, but just general knowledge point of view.
That's good. That's I learned something tonight, mate. So if I didn't do anything, I learned something tonight. So that's good. But there is your place getters or your position. Oh, sorry, that's sprint race 1. Sorry, we'll bring up the next one. Jumping the gun.
That's all right. So Lavis 1 and Hammond 3, and second time out it was Lavis 1 and Hammond 2. Sam Chapman could not recover from a very disappointing evening for him. That will pretty much put paid, I think, to his run at the championship. We'll have a look at the tables as we came in tonight, because that was a little bit confusing early on. But if we have a look there, Trent Lavis only had 7 points over Jordan Malcolm, and Jordan Malcolm not in tonight, and he's already used up his two drop rounds. Third place was Gary Cousins. Jared Knight was in 4th, and he didn't have a stellar night this evening. Sam Chapman was in 5th, and he'll drop down a bit because Michael Hammond's had a good night tonight, and he'll shift up those points there. But a good night of racing right across the board. So we're looking at the feature race there. Those points. Nice work from all the boys. There we go, sprint feature race again. Great racing across the board from the Downforce legends at Lime Rock Park, and then bringing our GT4s, very much a momentum vehicle, and that last turn on the main straight, absolutely critical for this track. But a good effort. Trent Lavis will go home a happy little chappy, and might even pop the top off a spicy cola or two. In fact, he joins us in the booth. Trent, have you visited the fridge yet, or is that yet to come?
Not yet. I actually need to get some dinner in. connected at the moment, so
You're way off your mic there, mate.
how's that? That better?
I can hear you. Brilliant. You're feeling a bit peckish.
Yeah, mate, haven't had dinner yet, so I should probably get onto that.
I would think that's a very good call. But good evening for you. It was worth going without your dinner, I should think.
Yeah, no, it's making hay while the sun shines, while Jordo's unfortunately off working at Radelaide for the V8s this weekend. But no, it was a good night at the office, minus the second race, start of the second race there. We had a few issues and managed to clean up my teammate that had a bit of a moment, but managed to claw back, and I was actually surprised that I was able to claw back to first. I thought it would be more of a battle than that, but had put in a really good couple of laps there and a good pit stop, and managed to jump out in front.
Yeah, we're a bit taken aback by Mark Gomes' descent after his pit stop, but when we looked a little deeper, his pit stop was about 7 seconds slower than yours, and about 5. You're about 2 seconds quicker than a lot of the other boys, so that always helps. You can battle for a lot of laps to try and make up 2 seconds, and if you can do it in the pits, that's a very easy thing. Well, it's not an easy thing, but it's very nicely done.
Yeah, no, I'd had a couple of practice runs getting into the pit lane. It's actually a nice and easy one, this one, with some good visual markers to work out where to pull the thing up, so managed to optimise that a bit. And yeah, had a good race at this first race there too with Chapo. I was buggered that my front tyres had enough, so I in the second race there I had to drive the car slightly differently to conserve the fronts, and it worked out quite well. I managed to squeak in the fastest lap there with a couple to go.
Yes, you did indeed, and you're in very close proximity with Michael Hammond there for a little bit, and he's one you've always got to dot your P's and cross your I's, don't you? So you snuck past him. It looked like he might have been struggling a little bit with wear as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rare mistake actually from Mikey there in the middle of the section that got me the run on him, but no, always good racing with Mikey. A lot of respect for each other. It's always good fun with the banter with the Aussie racer boys. This was sketchy at the start here, trying to bail out of that. That was scary. Oh man, I think I was pretty lucky there, to be honest.
Yeah, and so you mentioned was it Paul Wood you had the moment with? Did you have something to do with him going round?
No, there happened a couple of cars in front of me, so he sort of popped up from the car. I was following a car behind, and then he popped up in front of me there sideways, and I just had nowhere to go, mate. Just ploughed into the front of him.
Right, yeah, we saw.
You're about to see it here on the replay, actually. It's going to come up in a second.
We saw the back part of that, so let's... what was that, Paul Wood? We'll have a look at Paul. I think Paul just goes round on his own. Just loses,
he gets out in the loose stuff,
yeah. And cops the Ramrod Racing boys. And you do a little Eskimo kiss and go on your way, a Kiwi kiss.
We actually did a fair bit of damage to the car. Actually, it absolutely hammered me on the straights. Young Chapo there, he was an absolute rocket in the straight line. I had nothing I could do with him for a couple of laps there. He just pulled 2 or 3 car lengths on me.
In the red Porsche there. Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's the thing. The aero models can be very unkind, and what often seems like a small incident can have unexpected consequences. But that probably influenced your thought to get into those pits a little bit earlier as well.
I was going to pit the lap before as well, but I went in front of me. Well, Chapo decided to pit at the same time, so. Oh no, sorry, the guy in front of Chapo, I can't remember who that was. Russ, I think.
Russ
Green, possibly?
Yep.
Yeah, so he decided to pit, and I said, I'll just stick out for another lap and put in a heater and try and jump a couple of people, which is what I did.
Which is what you did. And this pit lane entry reminds me, or has similarities to Road America, I find, both uphill. And bump in behind you, left you a bit of space, but you can really attack it quite hard and just at the very last moment lock it up and throw on the limiter and make up a little bit of time that way. But that uphill section is nice as a pit entry, I find.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward pit entry, this one, nothing too tricky about it, but the pit exit though
is
a little bit tricky.
Yes, not quite as tricky as Zandvoort or a couple of the others where you're absolutely locking it up to get it turned in and around. I think Aragon is a bit of a tricky one as well. But you've got to get it just right, don't you, to not lose too much time on that exit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, make the most of it best you can, and obviously not put it into the fence at the same time, which I actually nearly did. So coming out of the pits, the first left-hander, the thing washed wide. I'm like, oh, here we go, almost gone. But managed to salvage it.
Oh, that's a good thing indeed. So that'll have done your championship reckonings no harm whatsoever. I think Adam's onto it already. But a couple of firsts, you can't do any better. Oh well, a couple of firsts, couple of fastest laps at pole, and probably a couple of zero incidents as well, I should think. So we're saying Adam. Yes.
Oh, almost had zero incidents on the first race there, but that bloody turn 3. Turn 4.
Yeah.
Turn 4. Every damn time. It's my Achilles heel, that corner. I hate it so much.
Yep. All right, we're not going to do a Zach tonight. We're going to get things done and dusted pretty quick. We've had one of your other main championship rivals, Sam Chapman. He's popped into the booth as well. We're a little low on numbers, but Sam, second race wasn't much to write home about, but first race you must have had a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, I don't think looking at the points I'm much of a championship rival to Chend at this point. I think he's probably going to walk away with it pretty happily, especially after tonight. But yeah, no, race 2 was good. Was trying to catch back up, but couldn't quite get there. As it was pushing pretty hard. And, tyres were a bit down, and just couldn't quite get there. But then race 2 was a bit of a disaster, really. It was a bit punchy out the gate, and I guess it sort of went from there. I was sort of trying to punch out fastest laps every lap, and that led to a few errors thrown in. But yeah, I mean, well done to Trent to come back from that as well, because I would have ended up down in sort of 13th place or something at some point, I would imagine, after that incident and damage and that.
Yeah, well, it's very much a case of overdriving, isn't it, when you're just trying to make that extra time up, and the harder you try, the slower you go, isn't it?
Yeah, it was, and it's an error I've done before. You got fastest lap on that second to last lap, which frustrated me. So with one single X remaining, I tried to get fastest lap on the final lap. And you wouldn't believe turn 4 got me. So that's why I'm back another 40 seconds.
Oh, man.
Just out of pride. But yeah, no, it was fun racing nonetheless. That's what happens when you're trying to drive at sort of 110% and pushing a little bit too hard.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, this track and Spa are the two that are just killers for off tracks, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are indeed. They just invite you wider, don't they, these corners? And they're just saying, come out here, come and play. But no, well done. Heading for Bathurst, boys, next week, and that'll be an enduro. What are we looking at? Being an enduro will be about
an hour, I'd imagine.
60 minutes, yeah. So that'll probably be a 2-stopper, I think. But looking forward to running the GT4s around the mountain.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be good. Any car around the mountains, good, but there are better experts around the mountain than I. But it'll be fun nonetheless.
Brilliant. So I'll thank you both for your time this evening. We do want to get away. I'm feeling a little weary after a couple of nights of broadcasting, and I know my co-commentator Aidan's at the end of his tether, I think. And once again, big shout out to Daniel Crasar, whose poor lovely wife is not feeling well tonight, and he picked up the dad duties as any responsible father would. So we give him a big shout out, and hope she who must be obeyed, your lovely wife, will feel better tomorrow, and you can continue to do your dad duties and help her out. But thanks, boys. We look forward to seeing those of you who will be at the Formula V's tomorrow night around Belle Isle. Might even bring Trent Lavis out of the woodwork for Formula V, do you think?
Tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Unfortunately not, I've got plans, so
Copy that.
I won't be in it, unfortunately. I wish I would, because Belle Isle's one of my jam tracks, and
The
those
Formula Vs
Vs,
are
you know,
just
I
good
love.
fun.
Haven't driven them for a while. Be a
No.
bit rusty, I reckon, but a couple laps, I reckon I'll get my head around it and get into it.
All right, boys. Well, thanks very much for popping in, and we thank everyone else for not popping in because it's not dragging the evening out. Aidan, did you have anything just quickly for the boys? I know you're very keen to get going.
No, not really. Sorry, boys, to wrap it up early. I've got a really, really early morning tomorrow. So I think, Trent, I could just second pretty much what Grant said, mate. If you go back and watch the broadcast after that first little issue you had and navigating it through, getting back to like 12th or 13th, and then the way that you navigated through, it shows why you qualified pole, why you won last week, and, mate, it was a great drive. I'm astounded with how you got back to the lead, mate. So congratulations on that one, and chapo, mate, race number 1. I thought you had something there for Trent. You were coming, got it down to like 0.3 of a second, and interesting to hear about the tyres and what you were going through. And I could see you early in race number 2. You made a dive up into turn number 1 where you were 3 wide, and I heard Trent say that was a little bit sketchy where you were 3 wide there. I thought you were trying to make the move early to try and get the job done and move forward, but unfortunate second race, mate, with that little bit of a spin, but still a good job to come back to what would have been a top 10 finish before the 40-second penalty.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I probably could have done with a bit more patience. But yeah, no, thanks for doing comms as well. And Grant, thank you for jumping in last minute.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, it's at all.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, gents.
It's the old bull and the young bull, isn't it? You're the young bull there, Sam Chapman, and you've got a few things to learn. And what do they call? What do they often say? I didn't lose. I was just presented with a learning opportunity.
I think so. It's time for me to go back and do a bit of Tuesday nights and with Treno looking over my shoulder, I think, after tonight.
All right, boys, thanks very much. Aidan, I'm going to give you an early mark. I'll run through the rest of the comings and goings of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club as we're so close to the end of the year, the end of the season, another fantastic year of racing. So, Aidan, thank you so much for all the work you've done around the club as a committee member, and your commentary on a Wednesday night is always very informative and very entertaining. So thank you, all 3 gentlemen, and I will get on with the gubbins of what happens around the club for the next week or so. Thank you, gentlemen.
No worries. Thank you, Grant, and look forward to seeing you boys in the GT4s at Bathurst next week. Look forward to it, and look forward to bringing all the action here on the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. For myself, Grant, thank you so much for jumping in tonight. It's been a pleasure, and look forward to next Wednesday night.
Good on you, mate. All the best, and enjoy your sleep. So that's it for tonight. We'll just go through our regulars, and we thank, of course, Pete Matson there at Orbic for his continued support of the GT4s, and I was having a chat with him, and they've got Orbic's got a couple of nice tablet products that are available through Telstra. So if you're looking to support Pete Matson and Orbic Australia, their website is just orbic.au. Drop in and see what they're up to. The mobile phone market is just way too saturated, so they're playing in some hotspots and tablets and things. So keep an eye on Orbic. They could be a very interesting company out of America, but with Pete running the sales on the Australian end. So thank you, Peter. All the best. Sprayton, of course, brings us all tomorrow night's action with their beautiful non-alcoholic ciders and a whole range of other beverages that people might enjoy as well. So have a look at Sprayton. The marketing looks very nice, the website looks good, and I'm looking forward to trying some of their wares. Login Systems bringing us probably a good time to have a quick look, and they bring us the Enduros. And the Enduro this weekend, Nürburgring, 4-hour live streaming, 11:50 a.m. I'm not sure where that ended up. I think it ended up with Sam Chapman back doing the broadcast, but there'll be about the first hour and about the last hour of that covered, and I think it's probably twice as fast, the Sun, or maybe 4 times as fast, but it'll be a fantastic race there for the GT3s and the hypercars. Back to our sponsors and Login Systems. Thank you for your ongoing support. M-Wave, check out the affiliate link for computer wares. Flash Graphics, thank you to John Simpson for all your work around the club and the wonderful club liveries that you make available free of charge. Player One Sim Gear brings us the Super 2s and Super 3s on a Monday night, and they've been wonderful to have back as a sponsor this season. And Waste Options will bring us the GT3s on Monday for the first of the last week of season 15, I think it is, and season 23D. Can't believe it's the end of the year already. And then Lopesy Racing, of course. How could we forget Trent Lavis, who's already ducked off to get dinner, and well deserved after a couple of wins tonight. Brings us back to Orbic. We've already had a look at the Enduro, and it's the second last Enduro for the year. The final Enduro is coming up in December. Keep your eyes out for that one. Then we will go to the schedule, and hopefully I've got this right. I haven't updated it for tonight, but we can kind of figure it out from here. Detroit Belle Isle tomorrow night with the Formula Vs. Should be fantastic fun, thanks to Sprayton, followed by the Imola, the 992 Cup cars racing around there. Sprints for Vs and 40-minute race for the Porsches. Friday night is the American Open Wheelers from Circuit de Jerez, the moto configuration of that track, 40 laps. Over the page we will go, and we'll have Saturday night Mountain Men Renault 2.0, 32 laps as always, 8:30 start. And Sunday we have the Enduro. Keep an eye out for that one. Monday, Super 2s at Mount Panorama, and surprise, surprise, GT3s follow it up there at Mount Panorama as well. Tuesday night we have the grand final, and it's grand final week, so bear in mind the Super 2 starting 15 minutes earlier than normal, so 7:30 start and a 45-minute race Enduro style, and the 94 the GT3s. Up and comers, December 5th, and the track is no longer TBA, it is RA, Road America. So it'll be 30 minutes quali, 30 minutes race for the MX-5, followed by 30 minutes quali, 30 minutes race for the GR86, and 30 minutes quali and 30 minutes race for the FIA Formula 4s. I believe Adam Lavis is going to pick up that broadcast on Tuesday night. And what I haven't updated is on Wednesday we are back for the grand final of Downforce Legends at Road Atlanta, and once again that'll be the same configuration, 15-minute race and a 25-minute race, and that will start at 7:45, followed by the GT4 Challenge final finale, as they like to say on TV, 60-minute race for the GT4s around Mount Panorama starting at 9 p.m. and that'll catch us up to where we need to be. So big thanks to everyone who does the broadcasting in Adam Lavis and Daniel Clayasar, with Aidan Schultz, not Aidan Schultz, yes it was Aidan Schultz helping me this evening, going a little bit gaga. Something to just mention, the final round of the GT1s will be the following week, because there won't be any time for them whatsoever with those 3 hours of up-and-comers racing. Big thank you, as I was saying, to everyone, to Race Control. We had Josh Zuino in there this evening doing a good job in there, and he is now the Enduro race coordinator, so thank you to him. And that just about brings us to the end. In fact, it does bring us right to the end of everything we need to say this evening. Merch, get your shirts, you know the address, and your bits and pieces. And over summer. We will break obviously after next week and probably get back into it last week or so of January, but everyone will take a very well-earned race. Look forward to the dulcet tones of Zach Caven coming back, and hopefully Daniel Grayasar back doing the broadcast tomorrow at night. So thanks to everyone involved, thanks to the drivers for putting on some fantastic racing. We wish you a very good night. Thanks for tuning in to the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, and look forward to having your company again tomorrow. So stay well and good night.